Global Mobility Program for Adidas, Country China, presented by Mary Korn, Management 6220, Managing the Global Workforce. Adidas background. The name Adidas comes from the name of the company's founder, Adi Dassler. Headquartered in Germany, it started with the production of sports footwear, where today they also manufacture sportswear, accessories, and equipment. It is the largest sportswear manufacturer in Europe and the second largest in the world. Mission statement. The Adidas Group strives to be the global leader in the sporting goods industry, with brands built on a passion for sports and a sporting lifestyle. They are committed to continuously strengthening their brand and products to improve their competitive position. Vision. To enhance social and environmental performance in the company and the supply chain, thereby improving the lives of the people making their products. When it comes to social and environmental affairs, Adidas is accountable for the way they do business, and they accept responsibility for the way their products are manufactured by suppliers. As a leader in the sporting goods industry, they are dedicated to being socially responsible by using safe and environmentally sound practices in the company and its supply chain. The success of the Adidas Group is a direct result of the commitment and talents of the people who work for them. Their goal is to build the leading global team in the industry. They work towards creating the best and most productive workplace in the world by nurturing an understanding of social and environmental responsibility, for the rights of all individuals, for the laws and customs of the countries in which they operate, while providing a secure working environment. When it comes to community affairs, Adidas Group feels it is their responsibility as members of each community to act as a true corporate citizen, and they are committed to doing this through corporate giving, volunteer work, and community relations. History of Adidas. Adidas started out with two brothers from Germany, Adi, short for Adolf, and Rudolf Dassler. Adi designed while Rudolf was the salesman of the team. As they moved forward, they pretty much disagreed on everything. Even their wives didn't get along. Adi acquired his first patent on a pair of running shoes in 1925, and 3 years later, Lena Radke won gold medals during the Summer Olympics in Amsterdam wearing his shoes. In 1936, Jesse Owens won 4 gold medals in their famous spiked shoes. By 1938, the company was producing 1,000 pairs of athletic shoes a day. In 1949, Rudolf left and started his own company known today as Puma, and Adi continued with his company, Adidas, with 47 employees. In 1954, Adidas created the lightweight football boots that were worn by the 1954 German national team, who won the World Cup finals. In 1967, the first piece of apparel for Adidas opened a whole new business to a company that so far was famous for shoes. And in August 2005, Adidas bought the U.S. headquartered Reebok for $3.8 billion.
Once upon a time, in a small town in Germany, there was a humble shoemaker who wanted to make shoes for all sportsmen and women. His name was Adi Dassler. In 1936, Adi handmade a pair of running shoes for a young American athlete called Jesse Owens, who went on to win 4 gold medals. As an athlete himself, Adi was able to get into the minds and bodies of the people he made equipment for. At the 1954 World Cup final, the German football team needed a miracle to defeat the all-conquering Hungarians. Adi invented the revolutionary screw-in studs that were changed at halftime to give better grip on the rain-soaked pitch. Dick Fosbury was the first man ever to high jump backwards. For his new technique, Adi made 2 different shoes. He took gold and the Fosbury flop was born. Adi also made boxing boots for the greatest of all time. And signature shoes for some of the most colorful tennis players to grace the sport. No matter what sport, Adi helped them all. And then a strange thing happened. Adidas started to live outside the courts, pitches, and stadiums. Everyday people across the world adopted Adi's 3-striped gear as part of their own style. Maybe they saw the truth and honesty stitched into every product Adi made. And the people who wore Adidas shared this spirit. Adi was a true original, an innovator, a one of a kind, and chances are that somewhere, sometime, he made something for you.
In 1968 to 1970, they strived to make the best product by reaching out to the athletes and finding out how to support their needs. From 1970 to 1987, over the years they have managed to stay in the forefront of the industry. The death of Horst Dassler ushered in a difficult time for Adidas, which took 6 years to turn around with new management. 1993 to the present, Adidas has remained a strong company through good marketing and reinventing their brand, offering apparel and footwear for every sport. Executive Team. The 6 members of the Executive Board are as follows. Herbert Hainer, Chief Executive Officer since March 2001, holds a degree in Business Studies and previously worked as CEO for Procter & Gamble in 1987. Roland Aschel, Head of Global Sales since October 2013, holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Business Studies and European Business Studies from the UK and a Master's of Business Administration from the US. Glenn Bennett, Head of Global Operations since March 1997, has a degree in Computer Science. Eric Glica, Head of Global Brand since March 2014, has a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. Casper Rorsted, the newest member, is on the Executive Board of Adidas AG with degrees in Business Studies, and he also attended Harvard Business School Executive Program. Robin Stalker, Chief Financial Officer since February 2000, has a degree in Business Studies. Here in one of Adidas stores, you'll find shoes, clothing, and accessories like socks, backpacks, gym bags, hats, gloves, and scarves. They also sell balls, shin guards, watches, sunglasses, and headphones. The purpose of this research project is to create a successful global mobility program that can be used at Adidas. Based in Germany, Adidas has offices, manufacturing facilities, and stores all over the world. Adidas has branched out to China as they expand their operation and services in manufacturing. Research topics: global assignments, adjustment to foreign cultures, work role factors, expatriation, repatriation cycle, major aspects of globalization that affect human resources management, trends in global mobility, working in China, and what does a strategic mobility program consist of? Working in China. Talent management shortages, cultural differences, challenges with expatriate assignments, immigration laws, and support practices. China is dealing with a substantial employment crisis. For 30 years, China had a low-cost, low-wage manufacturing industry that is now over. China's 200 million migrant workers grew tired of low wages and no employment benefits. But in the midst of a major unemployment crisis, executives at all levels are reporting increasing difficulties in recruiting skilled talent and filling scientific and technology positions. Among the world's three largest workforces, the United States, China, and India, technology is outpacing current job training and preparation programs. China and India are moving from low-skill, low-wage manufacturing into high-skill, high-wage industries, but the needed talent is sorely lacking. U.S. businesses can no longer rely on engineers and scientists from India and China to fill their skills gaps as the sought-after workers are being attracted by opportunities in their own countries. The UK took an interesting approach with the UK Migration Advisory Committee. Using both quantitative and qualitative data, they came up with a list of jobs that could be used to facilitate immigration. They used data on wages, employment, unemployment, and vacancies they can fill through immigration. Currently, Tier 2 of the points-based system is the route for skilled workers from outside the European Economic Area who have an offer of skilled employment in the UK. Cultural. Germany has a strong disposition of their companies towards strict chains of command and close monitoring of subsidiary operations. With this in mind, Germany would lean towards assigning more expatriates to their subsidiaries in China. Challenges with expatriate assignments. Expatriates and their families experience difficulties in adapting to the Chinese environment. Language deficits, lack of socio-cultural knowledge, and cross-cultural misunderstandings. Chinese managers have a tendency to quit when they have a better job offer, whereas German managers feel more of a commitment to the company. German companies feel hiring locally is necessary in time of transition for a specialized task. They would need to have the skill set, qualifications, and experience to replace the expatriate. Newly hired Chinese managers are sent to the German headquarters for several months of intensive training, which is designed to teach technical and managerial skills and to socialize local employees into the corporate culture. Immigration in China. As of July 2013, Article 30 of the new law requires that, as part of the application process for residence permits, expatriates shall provide their fingerprints and other biometric data to the Public Security Bureau. You might ask, what exactly does other biometric data mean? Perhaps collection of other physical biometric data like retinal scans or voice and handwriting samples? The new law indicates that as circumstances arise which may warrant the collection of biometric data from persons that are not necessarily on extended stays in China, like business travelers, tourists, or students, the Ministry of Public Security or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs may, at their discretion, enact additional laws subject to final approval by the State Council. Article 25 of the new law provides that a foreigner who might engage in activities inconsistent with the category of his or her entry visa will be denied entry visas from China. This provision allows a large margin of discretion to the issuing authorities to put certain persons on visa blacklists. Article 28 of the new law adds that expatriates with unfulfilled employee payment obligations could be subject to a no departure restraining order in China until such matters are settled. Chapter 7 of the new law also imposes harsher punishments on those officially determined to have violated China's immigration laws. For example, a foreigner who illegally stays in China will be subject to fines of up to 1,574 US dollars or detention of 5 to 15 days. An expatriate who illegally works in China will be subject to a fine of 787 US dollars up to 3,148 US dollars, and in serious cases, detention of 5 to 15 days would apply. Support practices in China. Human resource management in China. Before the economic reform, state-owned enterprises had dominated the Chinese economy. The operation and management of the state-owned enterprises were strongly influenced by traditional culture and communist ideology. The Chinese culture is known for collectivism and respect for hierarchy, in-group harmony, reciprocity, and loyalty.
The security situation in Beijing remains tense as political conflicts overshadow the games. Herbert Heiner can sense that tension during his visits. Repeatedly, the Adidas CEO has to justify his company's presence in China.
We discuss many topics with our Chinese partners. I think that when you get to know China really well, I've been traveling here for 10 years now, and in the past 4 years I've been here 15 or 20 times, you'll also start to notice that there's a tremendous push for further openness, for working together with other countries and peoples, but it's not something that happens overnight.
2,000 kilometers south of Beijing, far from the political conflict. The idyllic rice paddy fields are deceptive. The region of Guangdong is the center of China's economic boom. Adidas products also come from the so-called workbench of the world. About 18,000 workers make Adidas running shoes in this factory owned by an investor from Taiwan. Wages are growing quickly, up 20% in a year. The factory management is starting to question the benefits of producing here. Monthly wages are now about 130 euros, twice as much as in India, for example.
Yes, we know there will be volumes shipped to the other lower cost area, but we're sure the great majority of the complicated product or the high-end product will stay here in China. Now obviously we'll find the other locations also, like we have a factory in India.
At lunchtime, the factory employees head for the cafeteria. The days when millions of poor migrant workers couldn't find employment are over. Now the factory managers in Guangdong are desperately searching for new employees. All in all, working conditions in China have improved markedly. A new worker protection law has been in effect since January. Management must offer their workers much more than the famous bowl of rice a day, a symbol of a bygone era.
We try to build a community around these factories. We try to have our workers come and stay with us for a long time, for good. Otherwise, we're going to have to compete with the other factory again and again and again. So the more that we can do to build this community, to take care of workers, the better we will be down the road.
This is what employees' accommodations look like. Neat parks and even a community room for evening events. Sure, it's a model factory, but standards across China are improving rapidly. New homeowner apartments are being built exclusively for factory workers. Back in Beijing, in the shiny new Adidas shopping world. Skill tests and loads of high-tech gadgetry, and the young are certainly taking notice. The investment is paying off. After all, many of tomorrow's sports fans are going to need footwear with the perfect fit.
Reasons for global assignments. Establishing a management team with multinational experiences. Providing knowledge transfer of home country policies and procedures. New opportunities with emerging markets. Mergers and acquisitions. To regain competitive edge or lower costs. There are many reasons for a company to place employees on foreign assignments. The need to have an established team in place when expanding your business in a foreign country is common. You need management that understands the business. Company policies, procedures, and processes can be transferred by having a home country employee in place. Sales is one of the most important groups of a business, and having someone hit the ground running in a new market can make a world of difference. Mergers and acquisitions require having the right people in place, and quite often it is an expatriate with his or her ear to the ground that can provide vital information regarding the viability of the company in question. Business is competitive, and it is often the employee on assignment in the host country that can assist in regaining the company's competitive edge by providing local information on trends and competition. In some cases, it is more economical to have an employee on assignment in the host country, running a subsidiary of the company with a local staff as opposed to sending a large team. Types of assignments. Long-term assignment, relocation from one country to another for the length of assignment, typically 1 year or more. Short-term assignment, relocation from one country to another for the length of assignment, typically up to 1 year. Developmental, an assignment generally short-term with a major objective of broadening the experience of an employee and providing a career development opportunity. Localization, integration of an employee into the compensation and benefit system of the host country, typically following a long-term assignment and continuing for an indefinite period of Intra-regional, policies designed specifically for assignments between countries within a designated region, often with a reduced benefit objective. International commuter, an employee who works in the country or countries of assignment and commutes frequently to his or her home country. Extended business travel, an employee who does not relocate but travels regularly to an international location for an extended period of time. Permanent international transfer, a one-way relocation from one country to another for an indefinite period of time. Work role factors, reasons global assignments fail. Problems with employee and her family adjusting, host country culture differences, role ambiguity and responsibility overload, emotional immaturity, and changing business conditions. Family, spouse, or partners unable to adjust to the change, unable to find work in the host country, issues dealing with local services or local government. If the assignee has concerns about the family or partner left in the home country, this could cause them not to make the needed adjustment. Cultural adjustment in terms of language, customs, values, and lifestyle. Not being sure of the job, having no clear career path for the assignee, Depending on where the assignment is, the assignee may have what is considered a high-profile job in the host country, with servants, car service, and exposure to higher social status, which can be overwhelming for some. Poor candidate selection and/or poor job performance. Changes in the local market, organizational adjustments, or other business elements that were unexpected and do not reflect on the employee's performance or the inability to adapt to the foreign location. There are costs of expatriate failure, visa and work permit costs, travel and relocation expenses, training for the assignment, repatriation costs, excess taxes, and payroll expenses. Expatriation and repatriation cycle. Assignment planning. Planning, compensation, benefits, the plan for return, cost estimates, and training are all a part of the assignment planning. Recruiting and selection consists of review and assessment of the candidates. Pre-departure services. Orientation, perhaps a trip to the host country to get a feel for the culture, looking for a place to live, perhaps the sale of your current home, cultural training for your family, and foreign language training, relocation allowance, and perhaps medical exams. Once you begin the assignment, there may be visa or immigration issues, tax information needed, transition of pay and benefits to consider. Ongoing assignment administration can involve in-country training, act as the disseminator of knowledge from the home office, adoption of uniform practices and policies by the host country in managing reporting, year-end compensation and tax prep consulting, involves global tax issues, repatriation or post-assignment services, prepare for repatriation with orientation, purchase of a home, understanding new work roles, adjustment for family, concerns about career, reestablishing social relationships, a repatriation allowance. It would be good to make a home visit first. Receive outplacement services if warranted. Adjustments to foreign cultures. It is important to provide support to the expatriate and family and prepare them for the upcoming adjustment in the host country. Information on finding a home, addressing the spouse's career, and what their goals are. There are relocation services that provide assistance, and there may be other spouses of assignees or even a company-sponsored support group in the host country. Adjusting to a new country can be stressful, so it is important to recognize it and manage it accordingly. Culture shock is but one of many obstacles experienced when adjusting to a foreign country. There are differences in customs, language, beliefs, values, and the overall way of life. The spouse, partner, and family members can also experience difficulty adjusting to the new environment. This oftentimes causes stress, anxiety, depression, and all-around homesickness. Often there are additional non-work environment adjustments that are required for differences in food, housing, shopping, and healthcare. The U-curve function shows the 4 phases of adjustment: honeymoon, culture shock, adjustment, and final mastery. The honeymoon phase is the beginning when it is new and exciting to be in a foreign country. The next phase brings the culture shock, when it is no longer interesting and the excitement is over. The surroundings and social experiences are not what they are accustomed to. They become frustrated and sometimes depressed. In the third phase, adjustment, there is a better understanding of the various differences in the environment. They begin to find their way around and become more comfortable. With time, they reach the mastery stage, and at this stage, they are working at their capacity, fitting in socially, navigating the new culture, and experiencing a sense of well-being. The U-curve hypothesis does not provide much in the area of support and has been considered weak. The W-curve hypothesis consists of 5 phases: honeymoon, culture shock, initial adjustment, mental isolation, and acceptance and integration. The difference being the initial adjustment stage, which entails physically feeling more at ease. There is still a disconnect with the host country customs and values. Relationships are forged with coworkers and neighbors. The mental isolation stage brings feeling alone or getting to know people feels difficult, and even thinking nobody else feels the same way you do. The final stage, acceptance and integration, is where the new environment is accepted. By personal choice is the W curve, because neither one has enough research to back it up. However, the W curve reflects repatriation and should be included to make the process complete. Major aspects of globalization that affect human resources management: global staffing, global leadership development, skilled workers, technology advances, attracting human capital, changes in the currency values, the need to understand global corporate cultures, talent retention, competitive compensation, global labor relations and laws, culture, and political climate. Globalization affects every aspect of human resources management. There is a need for international human resources management to become more strategic in order to address the changes brought about by globalization. Human resources is responsible for seeking out talented individuals and retaining them. It is their responsibility to provide the necessary training for employees to be successful internationally. In many areas, there is a shortage of skilled workers that can be addressed by a strategic human resource management team. With globalization, the responsibility of human resources is to understand and train employees in corporate cultures of other countries, along with any pertinent information regarding labor laws or political unrest. With an ever-evolving environment comes changes that affects human resources management. Companies are interacting with customers from diverse cultures, languages, and social backgrounds. In response, many human resource managers seek to hire employees from equally diverse backgrounds. Companies engaging in this diversity recruitment recognize the value of having people on staff that their customers can relate to, and they know that having a team of diverse people contributes to the range of ideas and influences. Professional development is providing employees opportunities to achieve their career-related goals. Technology advances affect HR management with the need to keep and retain staff members who have the most current skill sets. It is important to ensure that your compensation and benefits appeal to the prospective employees as a part of a competitive package. International human resource management must stay up to date on global labor relations and laws to avoid running into any compliance issues that could be expensive. Trends in global mobility. Career development is being addressed by utilizing data and analytics to use for business decisions and charting the careers of their employees. Return on investment is maximized by increasing the time spent on selecting candidates using assessment tools. Get the right person in the right job and support them. This will also bring a higher retention rate. Family considerations have changed with what is considered family today. The policies and processes need to be updated to reflect the new family structures. Compliance with other countries' immigration policies and laws. Managing the talent pool and remote team management are critical. International human resource management is moving away from the assignments based on duration and moving towards virtual and global teams or commuters to stay more in line with the business strategy. Creating a global mobility program. The process for selection should take into consideration the current business strategy, a tool assessment in place that shows the experience and skill sets of the available assignees to make sure we are getting the right person for the right job. A reward system should be in place to recognize exceptional work. The goals must be measurable to see if the program is successful. More people are looking to work in another country, and many companies are changing the durations of assignments. There are more vital teams, global teams, and commuters, and more flexibility in regards to benefits. The initial planning and selection tasks prior to relocating should include visiting the host country prior to the move. If needed, temporary lodging, medical exams or shots, work permits, visas, or passports. Discussions around the costs involved, available relocation allowance, and training on the host country culture. It is important to make sure the assignee knows their assignment and what is expected of them. A clear understanding will alleviate any anxiety the assignee may feel about the assignment. How the assignment affects career development is something every assignee should want to know. While on assignment, training on language, culture, politics, and social etiquette. A support team to contact when needed. Medical costs, bonuses, retirement funds, taxes, leave to visit home country, continuing education, rentals, utilities, and even storage space if required. The host country may have different medical benefits or health club memberships. Services for partner support and special circumstances should be included. Returning to the home country, you should have had a home visit during your assignment, an allowance for repatriation, severance or non-compete payments, and outplacement services may be available. A clear career path for your new assignment back home. When taking a more strategic approach, the assignment is attached to the level of the assignee, the overall objective of the assignment, and the responsibilities of the assignee is an important part of the program. Literature review. Mid-level research was available on the subject of global mobility programs. There have been a great deal of changes over the last few years in regards to approach. Several surveys reviewed and shown to be reflective of the current trends. There was limited research found in the area of scholarly journals on the subject. The majority of the information was provided through companies that specialize in mobility services and annual reporting on trends. There was extensive research available on international human resources management and the impact on global assignments. The Carta's 2014 Trends in Global Relocation, Global Mobility Policy and Practices Survey. This is the sixth in Carta series of policy and practices surveys that began back in 2002. It includes responses from 172 mobility managers around the world. This study is a continuation of their investigation into trends related to how and where companies are sending their transferring employees, the challenges they are facing, and the solutions they are using. All major industry groups are included, and the respondents are multinational companies with an average global relocation volume of 580 annual moves, representing more than 8 million employees. The top 5 findings were: half of the companies expect mobility volume to increase. Family members may be less likely to accommodate employees on assignment. Nearly 2/3 of the companies do not track the number of employees who leave their organizations, which they should. Family adjustment is the leading reason assignments fail, and cost control and compliance continue to lead the list of challenges. PricewaterhouseCoopers survey of 193 executives from companies around the world. According to PricewaterhouseCoopers survey last year, most companies expect to increase their mobility programs even though they don't think they are getting a sufficient return on investment. Only 42% of the 193 executives participating stated that their global mobility was a good value. One of the reasons felt to be the case is sending the wrong person to the wrong place, overpaying the expats when local talent is available, and offering large financial packages when people are more motivated by the development opportunity. Conclusions. The information discovered during the course of the research is very relevant to today's global mobility programs. I agree that certain adjustments in the way we look at global mobility programs is required to stay current with a company's business strategy. With so many of the workforce retiring, the millennial generation is set to take on the new challenges. The way we look at work and family is different, and the work-life balance is extremely important. With new technology, we are able to create work teams that span the globe without leaving our homes or offices. The current trends show that global mobility programs are moving to a strategic model instead of a transactional model. A proactive approach focusing on return of investment instead of cost will provide a more developed mobility program. I feel this generation of global workers look forward to the experience of working in a foreign country, and it is vital that the mobility programs step up to handle the challenges ahead. They will need to seek out the most talented and retain them by providing the type of work assignments and allowing them to move further with career goals. References. This concludes the presentation on the Global Mobility Program. Thank you for listening.